Hello, boys and girls. This is Nick Bone from the Ready Working Show, where we speak with a variety of guests on their experiences entering the workforce, the tips and tricks they use to be successful, as well as perspectives from the other side of the table as recruiters and employment specialists. I'm excited to introduce today's guest, Lynn Shen. She came to Canada to study East Asian Studies in a master's program at the University of Toronto. Lynn has experience working for Western Ontario and her current employer Ryerson University as an international student advisor. In today's episode, we discuss why Lynn chose to come to Canada for her education and provide some insight and experience for international student life in Canada, such as traveling, education, and work. Also remember, if you are enjoying the content, to please like, comment, and subscribe. Hello, Lynn. Welcome to the show. It's great to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you, Nick, for having me here.
Absolutely. I'm really looking forward to discussing your experiences and your journey of where you are today. I know we were talking a little bit before the show started about your education and that you did a master's degree in East Asian Studies at the University of Toronto. But you didn't do your undergraduate in Canada, right?
Yeah, I did my undergrad in China, in the city of Tianjin.
How was that?
It was pretty good. I did my undergrad degree in history and also in business administration. So I kind of humanities, but also business degree for my undergrad. Because at that time, my mom was saying history may be a little bit hard to find a job. So why don't you explore something else? And I decided maybe I will try business administration because a lot of people were taking that. It's still very popular.
Definitely. So for maybe people who are not too familiar with China, Tianjin, that's near Beijing, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Is it south or north of Beijing?
I think it's east of Beijing.
East of Beijing, okay.
Actually, I don't
far,
know.
right?
My geography is terrible, so.
That's why you did history, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So what made you decide to go to Canada for your master's degree?
So yeah, as I was mentioning, I did my undergrad in two degrees,
Right.
and I just realized I like history better, and I like East Asian studies, particularly like political history and social history. So I decided to do my master's abroad because my dad always kind of was talking, oh, you got to do a degree overseas. So I kind of had an idea when I was growing up. So yeah, master was my chance to go abroad. And I contacted several universities, and luckily my master supervisor at U of T, he agreed to take me on. So that's why I'm here.
That's awesome. So what was it like packing up and moving over here? Did you have a suitcase, two suitcases? Did you plan it all out, or did you just go with it?
Yeah, I had two very big suitcases. Maybe other people would pack more, but I think at that moment, I feel like I'm kind of tiny person. I couldn't carry more. And there's also like a limit of
Right.
how heavy your suitcase can be when you board plane. So basically, I packed for about maybe 2-3 days, not too long. And I use those kind of like bags you can just suck the air. And so I put a
Okay.
lot of I packed my blankets, like
Oh, wow.
sheets, bed sheets, and pillows, everything. But I realized when I came here, I realized a lot of things I packed I could just buy here. But at that
Right.
moment, I didn't know. I just packed everything.
Yeah. And then when you
Yeah.
got here, what did you have a place to stay already, and you had someone organize that for you, or did you do it yourself? What was the process like for that?
So yeah, so I applied for the dorm, so the grad
Okay.
house for grad students at U of T. But I came to Canada a bit earlier, so I couldn't move into the dorm when I came because
Oh no.
they have a like move-in date.
Right.
So I knew the date beforehand, so I kind of was searching like on a map for the Airbnb, like the breakfast and bed. I think at that time it's not called like Airbnb, it's just B&B.
Right.
So I contacted one, And I called them and sent them a lot of emails and kind of figure out how it works. So I paid deposit. So yeah, after I
Right.
landed, I went to that place for several nights. And when the move-in date was arrived, I moved into my dorm.
Awesome. So then you started your program, and how did you find the program in Canada? Was it a lot different than university in China, or would you say the experience is pretty similar?
Um, it is. By that time, I think I was the only student from mainland China.
Okay.
So other people in my program, their English are perfect. Um, I think my English was not that great. Like sometimes I just kind of missed what was going on in the class for for the beginning of the 2 3 classes. I had to really catch up, and then reading. There were a lot of readings
Oh yeah.
and a lot of writing, which I was not used to. And all of them are in English. So yeah,
Right.
it was quite adjustment. So I studied a lot. I basically went to like the library like from 7 or 8 a.m. and stayed there until like 11.
Wow.
I think that's the time Roberts kind of closed.
Right.
So yeah, so that was how I started. But I think after one semester, I got a hand of how that worked and then, expectations and what I should do. So I think second semester was much more smoother.
Right. It's a lot easier for you now that you kind of had a good idea of what's going on and
Yeah, yeah. It was less intimidating. At the beginning, it was kind of intimidating to me.
right. And did you find that there were a lot of supports for you from the university for the language part? Were the teachers or professors pretty helpful, and other students? How did you find them?
Yeah, like in my program, there are some PhD students that are also from China. So whenever I have any questions, I always went to them asking for advice and suggestions. And also they, like my department, they always hold like social gatherings, parties, and when they're kind of, to meet with people and talk about what I was working on, what other people were working on, just kind of make friends. I also made a lot of friends who were also studying at U of T at that time, but they were not in my program.
Oh, okay.
So basically, they would like host house parties. They would
Right.
go out for delicious food, and then maybe like go sightseeing. So we would do that on the weekends when we don't have a lot of classes or assignments. That was quite nice. And I think I went to the writing center a lot at U of
Right.
T for my for my writing, and they also had courses, so I signed up for that one just to
Okay.
polish my writing.
Oh, awesome. So now that you're in university and you're doing the East Asian studies, did you consider or were you thinking about what you wanted to do after you graduated?
Yeah, by that time, I thought I was gonna continue my academic journey, maybe to do PhD, and also after that, researching and teaching in a university or college. That was how I planned when I came here. But I think um, I just changed my mind.
Yeah.
I think a lot of students, international students, they think about like how to get PR, because
Right.
that's a goal for many people. So
And
when I
just
thought
before we
about that,
continue, do you mind explaining just for people who may not know what PR is or what it stands for?
yeah, so it's permanent residence. It's also called like maybe maple leaf card if I translate from Chinese people how they call it, or something similar to the green card in US. So it
Right.
kind of give you rights to live here permanently and work here. Yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah, so when it was near the graduation point, a lot of people were, a lot of my friends, they're in the process of applying for PR. There are many streams I can talk about, that separately. Um, but at that moment, I realized, I kind of want that too because I kind of like Canada. People here are cool,
Yeah.
and the society is very friendly and multicultural. I really like it. I want to stay here. And then I think about, my career path, what is the best route for me to get my PR here, and then, can continue to stay in Canada. And also I realized at that point I don't really like research that much. I don't really want to be an academic. So
Yeah,
I
it's not as
just,
fun as you thought.
yeah, it can be like, it may not be a good fit to me at that moment.
Right.
So because I worry a lot about, how I can stay here, what would be after I, finish a PhD, what's the career prospects? Is that hard
Right.
to find a, teaching position? So at that time, I decided maybe I'll just, find a job here. So I
Right.
started looking for a job.
Do you think that finding a job is really important for PR? Is that something that the government looks for?
So basically, for master students, you can apply through the provincial nominee program. Um, at that point, that was a possibility for all of us who were finishing our master's degree here. Yeah, but at the same time, kind of want to know how it feels to be working, because
Right.
I was a little bit tired of continuing to be a student. So at that moment, I kind of really want to find a job and work.
Right. And you could get the work permit, right, through your master's. Is it a 1 or 2 3 year work permit, right?
So basically, that's the post-graduation work permit.
Okay.
So, and the length of the work permit will depend on how long your academic program is in Canada. So
Right.
for me, because I study here for 2 years, so I can get a 3-year work permit.
Okay, interesting. So you decided to work after graduation, or was this during your program?
After
After
graduation,
graduation. Okay.
yep.
So what was the first job that you applied for that you were interested in?
It was kind of really hard to find a job because I had zero Canadian working experience. Actually, I
Right.
had one, but it's for like RA, research assistant, for my professor. Um, but it's basically more related to what I was studying at that time, so it's not really a normal workplace experience.
I'm wondering if you would have any suggestions or advice to other international students who are, let's say, they're in their programs, they're about to graduate, maybe they're in third or fourth year, and they're starting to think, well, I really want to get a job after I graduate in Canada, and I want to stay in Canada. I want to get my permanent residence.
Mm.
How can they get that first work experience? Because it's probably not going to be, like you said, the dream job that you want, right? It's going to be
It's
an
gonna take some
introductory,
time to get what you
yeah.
want.
So would you have any advice for them for looking for a job, or
Mm.
where did you find the UPS job?
Oh, it's a referral of a friend.
Okay.
So, but my case is a bit unique because what I learned is humanities. So there are not a lot of jobs in the market that are for grads from humanities, especially East Asian studies.
Right.
And at that time, it was not clear what I really wanted. So I was just like get a job and to see how it worked. Um, for international students who are here and thinking about getting a job, maybe um, think about your academic program. Is this something you want to do for your career, or it's totally different? And I know that a lot of academic programs nowadays have internship co-op
Right.
components. So to see if you can participate will be a great start. And there are a lot of resources on campus, such as like career center, program advisors. Those are all people, or international student advisors. Those are all people you can go to for advice. Yeah, I think another good opportunity for a student is there are a lot of volunteer and part-time jobs on
Right.
campus. I think that's a really good start point, because if you have on your resume your work experience as a student stuff in your university, I think that will catch a lot of eyes, especially if you are international students and you just came here to study, not having a lot of chances to work, a lot of side jobs. That will be really good.
Oh yeah, and definitely, especially since you also mentioned that the reason that you got the job was from a referral. And volunteer opportunities can be really great for referrals for other jobs as well as the experience itself.
Yeah, exactly. I think volunteering is a good start because basically you can start to kind of understand or learn more about how the workplace operates, and then
Right.
the dynamic, and also um, etiquettes, and then also sort of kind of stuff. And but I would advise, if you want to get a job, um, if you want to volunteer, your motivation should not be like, oh, I want to volunteer so I can get a referral, because
Right.
in that way people would feel like maybe it's too aggressive from you, so the vibe may be a little bit different. I would suggest just enjoy
Do
the
something you want to
volunteering,
do.
and
Yeah.
something might happen, but don't kind of
Expect it.
just exactly less expectation.
Oh, wow. Yeah, absolutely. So definitely volunteer work. Try to build those connections by doing something you love and you enjoy. And if you get that referral, then it's a bonus.
Exactly, it's not something that will come, but it's actually a bonus and adds on.
Right.
Sometimes it didn't happen, but that's okay. If
Because you
that
still
didn't
had the
happen,
experience.
exactly, and you can make many friends and just be yourself. Let other people get to know more about you. Maybe some opportunities will happen in the future, right? Who knows?
And I know, like you said earlier as well, you're spending so much time at the library. Was that throughout your whole program, or did you find later in the program you had a bit more time to look for these volunteer? Because I'm sure a lot of international students and students at university, maybe they're thinking, I don't have enough time to volunteer. What kind of suggestions would you give to them for time management or trying to figure out a way to volunteer?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like the first year, I spent a lot of hours in the library. I think it's a learning curve as well, because the first year I didn't really know what to expect. So I just study, study, study hard.
Right.
Second, you kind of know how it is, and then maybe I learned to study smarter, and then spend more time with like friends and social circles, just to be immersed in the society. um, yeah, so it's definitely like a job in terms of
Yeah.
library hours in my second year. And also in my second year, I started to think more about, okay, is there any conference I can go to?
Right.
Can I send my paper or my projects to somebody who might be interested for me to kind of participate in a presentation, or like conference? Yeah,
Yeah,
so I
definitely.
started to have more ideas about what I can do.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's great because again, it goes back to networking and building your network so that you can hopefully get those referral suggestions and advice and experience and friends, like you said.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Making friends is extremely important, because we are here by ourselves. When we came here, we just came by ourselves. So having a circle of supportive friends it's gonna change your life.
and like you said, joining clubs, conferences, dinners. How did you connect with these people? Was it through WeChat? I know that's primarily what they use in mainland. Are there any other apps or clubs, programs that you
Mm.
use to stay in contact with?
So yeah, for a lot of like Chinese friends I made, we basically just use WeChat or text,
Right.
just text people through cell phone. Um, I think for a lot of like academic related activities, just like really monitor what is coming in my school emails.
Right.
If there's a chance, if there's a talk I'm interested in, I would just go. And if there's a conference chance, I would, also sign up, something like that. Um, and then that's kind of also still related to school, but for
Right.
outside of school, I think I started to take like dance classes and those kind of club activities, and kind of expand my social circle. um, at that time I went to church very frequently, so I made a lot of friends there. And then people there are, they do a lot of different occupations, so I got to learn more about the real world.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you ever use any professional networking sites such as LinkedIn?
Yes, I had my LinkedIn when I was graduating. I
Okay.
didn't have a lot to put on at that
Right.
time, so gradually building it. Yeah, so a lot of people would choose to kind of, like invite people for a coffee chat. I
Right.
tried that too. Um, but at the beginning, it might be hard because you had nothing on your, profile.
Right. So you have to
Maybe other
build up
people
that
are
profile.
exactly, and then people may be less interested in getting to know you. But don't be discouraged. It's just the way it is, and
Right.
if you could not connect with some people, just move on and find other people.
Oh, I have one friend, and the suggestion that she gave to me when I first started on LinkedIn was to find either a position or an industry that you're really interested in and connect with every single person that you can.
Wow.
Right. And she said, just send it to everyone and don't feel discouraged if you don't connect with all of them, because odds are a few of them will connect with you. And that's where you can start.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't feel discouraged or don't take it personally because
Right.
it's not because of you. It's just the way it is.
Right. And then once you start building a few more connections, you get that credibility and then you can build more and more and more.
Yeah. Yeah. Once you have a clearer idea about what you want to do, you can talk more about yourself and like how you like to learn about the position or that person's
Right.
experience or that company. The other person would be more interested talking to you too.
And I'm sure you have lots of skills as well, even though you haven't always put them into work practice. University provides you with so many skills that you can use within a job or the real world as well. So make sure you highlight those.
Yeah, those are transferable skills.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily need to be from a direct working experience. If you don't have any, it can be critical thinking,
Right.
communication,
Research.
writing skills, research. Exactly. That's what most of us grad students put on research
Yeah,
analysis.
absolutely. So your first job was the UPS, and then what about your second job? How did you go into that one?
Oh, yeah, my second job, as I mentioned, I was at one point I was having two part-time jobs. One is
Right.
UPS, one is teaching Chinese. And my second job is like my first like full-time job. That's at education company in Toronto.
Okay. What did you do there?
So my first role was marketing coordinators because I speak Mandarin. Oh, highlight if you can speak Mandarin
Yeah,
or other
definitely.
language is a really
That's
good
huge.
bonus. Exactly. And then my role was marketing coordinator to help promote the school programs
Okay.
through like social media or events and also other promotional, like activities.
Okay. And you enjoyed that job as well then? Or you wanted to
Yes,
move on to something else?
yes, I like it.
Yeah.
I think through that experience, because marketing, you gotta talk to a lot of people.
Right.
So I think that gave me a great opportunity to know how things work and then how to propose ideas, how to partner with external companies.
Right.
So it's really good intro role for me, who had no like formal full-time experience, working experience in Canada.
Right.
And I made a lot
Definitely.
of friends through that role too.
Which is good.
Yeah.
So then after that role, what did you decide to do? How long were you in that role for?
It was about a year, and then I think there's also an internal role opened up, and then people were encouraging me to apply for that. So I got the second role, and it was managing academic program.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I stayed in that role in the second role for about almost 2 years before I
Okay.
moved to Western for the role of international student advisor.
So what is the international student advisor? What do they do?
So basically, 70% of my job is to advise students on immigration matters such as study permit, visa, co-op work permit, working authorization, postgrad work permit, and potential pathways to permanent residence. And also other advising that contains like personal matters financial concerns, cultural adaptation, and also academic adjustment.
Right.
So
Which you're an expert in. Definitely.
I could speak
Yeah.
more from my experience. I don't know how much help I was
Yeah.
to students, but I think they like talking to somebody who can also speak Mandarin and
Right.
share the same experience at them too.
Absolutely. I think that's really important as well. Being able to share those experiences, it's a different kind of understanding for sure.
I feel like in my role, the most important job is to listen. Because maybe they feel like, oh, a lot of employees at university, they don't have international student background and they're not from China. So
Right.
sometimes they want to express something, express their feelings and thoughts and, like their plans or maybe. And sometimes they really want somebody to be there to listen to them.
Right.
And I think, like giving them a chance to be heard by somebody who can understand them, it can really help.
Yeah, and it can definitely give them the confidence to speak with you as well, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So after
So
this
yeah,
position, what did you do next?
so that's my current role. I feel like
Is
you're
it
doing
current?
job interview. Like,
Yeah.
what is your first role? How did you find a job? Why did you move on to next?
Well, it's really interesting because everyone has a different journey, and a lot of the times, what you want to do when you go to university is not what you end up doing by the time you graduate, right? Or
Yeah, I guess that's the case for me at least.
right. And it's the same with a lot of other people that I speak to. They start out thinking this is what they want to do, or this is what my parents want me to do. And then as they're going through the program, and then maybe they take that first job in that specific field, they realize it's not for them. It's not what they're
Yeah,
interested in.
it is a painful realization because you got to make some life changes at that point. But
Right.
just just be brave. It
Yeah,
will all work out.
definitely. So I'm
Yeah.
curious.
So speaking of my current role,
Yeah.
I currently work at Ryerson, so I moved back to Toronto. So I realized, yeah, I miss the Toronto life and I miss
Yeah.
my friends here, and also my boyfriend is here too, so I moved
That
back.
helps. Yeah. So what have you traveled anywhere in Canada?
Yes,
Outside of Ontario even?
yes, Ontario and Canada. I traveled throughout my time in Canada, and also traveled to US quite often because it's very close.
Right.
So been to Montreal, Vancouver, um, and also other parts of Ontario, um, like Waterloo or London. Or I think I went to like other places like Niagara Falls.
Right.
Like that's what everyone will go.
Everyone goes.
Yeah, everyone goes as a visitor. What else? Um, Maybe some other smaller places I can't think of now. Mm, I plan to visit Ottawa maybe after the COVID situation ends.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
Ottawa's beautiful, especially the
I
older part. Yeah.
I know. I love the, like the pictures of Ottawa. I really want to go. I want to visit museums and also other like, architectural,
The
the old
Parliament.
buildings. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So what is your favorite place, or what was your favorite place to visit in Canada if you had to choose one location?
I really liked Montreal.
Yeah.
I think I visited Montreal 2, 3 times and in different seasons. I really like it. I hope I could speak French.
Yeah.
Um, but I love it. It's a very artsy city
Right.
and it's so beautiful. And a lot of museums, art galleries, and food is amazing.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just really nice.
So is the food as good as the Chinese food though?
They have a Chinatown in
Oh, do
in
they?
Montreal. I think so. I think the Chinatown is actually really good. I like their
Yeah.
food.
So what kind of food do you like if you were to choose? Would you have Canadian food or Chinese food if you had the choice?
Where in Toronto or in Montreal?
In Toronto or Montreal?
I like to explore more.
Yeah.
But if I don't have Chinese for,, 'food for like in about 2 weeks, I would be really not. 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 I would not myself.
Yeah.
I need to have some Chinese.
So what kind of Chinese food do you usually eat?
I like there are also so many options in
Yeah,
Toronto.
that's true.
Um, I like spicy food, like Sichuan food,
Yeah,
mapo tofu,
yeah.
and also other dishes I don't know how to speak in English. And I also like the rice noodles.
Okay.
Yeah. And I like, sometimes I like Cantonese food, but I can't have it often.
No?
Because I know, because my hometown cuisine, the style is kind of different.
Oh, okay.
And I like noodles, I like dumplings.
Dim sum?
Yeah,
Yeah.
dim sum is also part of the Cantonese cuisine, so I can have it maybe like
Sometimes.
once in several months, but not too often. But I
So
know a
where's
lot of people here love dim sum. Do you
oh
like
yeah.
it?
Yeah, that's pretty good. So where's your hometown?
My hometown is Zhejiang province.
Oh, okay.
Zhejiang.
Where's that near?
That is
Like out of major cities.
Hangzhou is the
Oh, okay.
capital city.
Okay.
My hometown is about 2 hours driving distance from Hangzhou. Yeah, it's kind of near, also near Nanjing, Shanghai, so that area.
Oh, okay, right. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, I've been there, so I know Shanghai.
Oh, do you like it?
Yeah, it's a big city though.
I know
The
a
food
lot of
is
like
really good.
foreigners live there too.
Yeah, I went to Shanghai and Suzhou.
Oh, Suzhou is beautiful.
Yeah, we went through the water canals.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
wow.
yeah.
We
So
travel like the Chinese in
yeah,
Suzhou.
exactly. Yeah, that's why I know where I've been to Tianjin once. Yeah, just it was for the there was a carnival or like a festival that
Oh,
was going on.
really?
Yeah, it was some kind like an
Nice.
amusement park,
Amusement
huge one.
park.
I
Hmm.
can't remember the name of it, but
Yeah, like Tianjin is lovely.
it is huge buildings.
Huge buildings,
Yeah,
yeah. And the food here, people here are also very friendly and welcoming. And they're
definitely.
very proud of, their hometown. They're very proud of, the city and Tianjin, the cultural.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm sure everyone heard of Wuhan now as well. Have you ever been there?
Yeah, I've been in Wuhan. I
Yeah.
went there in my first year when I was doing my undergrad. I love it.
Oh,
Wuhan
yeah,
is
yeah. Yeah,
Wuhan University is such a beautiful university.
it is right on East Lake.
Yeah, and I was there, and then there was at that time there was still some like cherry,
Cherry
blossom.
Blossom? Yeah.
Yeah, I love it, and the university itself is just it's a traveling site.
Oh, yeah. Then you went biking, like bicycle around the East Lake then?
No, it sounds like you did
No? Yeah, I did.
that. Did you like it?
Oh, yeah, it was beautiful. Yeah, I lived
Yeah,
in Wuhan for 2 years.
you lived there for 2 years.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, you must love the food there.
Yeah, like when you said the noodles, it reminded me of the spicy beef noodle for breakfast.
Oh, I love it. It's called ragamien, right?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's hot dry noodle.
Oh, it's a different kind.
Yeah,
Sorry.
a different kind. Yeah,
Oh,
both are good though. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I love their food, this, street food, snacks.
Oh yeah, yeah. They have the Happy Valley, I think it's called, or a lot of
Happy
this.
Valley.
Yeah, I don't know the Chinese name, but
Okay.
yeah,
I think it may be called Hubuxiang. I don't know.
probably. Yeah, it was a very interesting experience. It was a lot of fun. Like you said, the people there are very friendly as well. Very proud to be Wuhanese.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because they had the Yangtze River, right, that flowed through
Yep.
there. So it used to be the story of all the shipping routes, and all of the
Hmm.
sailors would stop there to eat their rogamian for breakfast, and
Wow, you really know a lot.
a little bit, not too much.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So I'm curious about if you have any unusual habits or strange things that you love or that you love to
Mm.
do.
Strange things.
Yeah, something
Weird
unusual.
habits.
Yeah.
Um, I like collecting fortune cookie fortunes.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like, positive messages. Um, and, like if you go to like a Chinese restaurant, usually after you pay for the meal, they would give you fortune cookies and notes will be inside a cookie.
Right.
And I really like it because, it give me new perspectives of life, and I usually collect them in my purse. So I've been
Okay.
collecting every single of them
Oh, really?
since I've been to Canada. So
How
yeah,
many do you think you have?
I don't know, like maybe like 100 or more.
What, and you just keep them in your purse, or do you hang them up after, or
Just keep them in my purse.
so your purse is just filled with all the
Fortunes, yes.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's definitely an interesting habit.
I like it so much. Yeah. Usually if they don't give me fortune cookies, we'll be disappointed.
Yeah.
I feel like I should have given should have been given like those kind of
The good
things.
fortune.
Yeah, good fortunes
Do you have a
carry with
favorite
me.
fortune that you've had? Like a quote or a message that you received on a fortune cookie that you always remember?
Yeah, so like there's one I actually post on my WeChat, 朋友圈.
Yeah.
So I think that's like earlier this year, last year, 2020. I think there's one fortune that says you don't ever need to worry about um, money, and another one, because it's a big meal, give me two. Another one is that you will always have good health.
Oh wow.
And it's really good one because COVID, everyone is worried about losing their jobs and
Right.
money, finances, and also health issues. So I was really happy that I received this too.
Yeah, those are
I really
perfect.
need it. I know, I
Needed for
know.
this, definitely. It'll be interesting which ones you get next year as well now, or this year, I should say.
Yeah,
Whenever
haven't
they
got
open
one
up.
yet.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll let you know.
perfect. Sounds good. So, how has a failure or an apparent failure later set you up for success?
Mm, failure.
Yeah, so something that was a failure, but then later it turned out to be success, or it led you to be successful in a different area.
Mm. I could speak like of some mini failures. Like for example, you want that job so much, but you didn't get it,
Right.
or just you were just not selected after 3 rounds of interview. Sometimes you can feel a sting. But I would want to mention like a major failure. That is after when I was finishing my master's program, I also applied for PhD because that was the original plan. I
Right.
didn't get into my dream school, so I think at that time I was kind of not feeling great about myself.
Right.
um, but also it is from that whole process, applying and waiting and everything, that I realized maybe I don't like researching. I don't like
Right.
academics life that much. So that pushed me to look for a job.
Right. Which ended
Yeah.
up working
I
out
think
well for you then, I think.
thank you. I think so. I think I really like my job. I like helping international students.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing.
Oh, no problem. I can
So,
talk about that. I think maybe for like 4 or 5 years ago, it's still a little bit painful to me, but now I feel like I can talk about that freely.
yeah, definitely. And it sounds like you learned a lot from it as well, from the experience.
Learned a lot about everything about myself,
Right.
mainly about myself.
And they say that's why failures are so important as well, and that we shouldn't look at them so much as failures, but learning experience, because, like you said, you get to learn so much about yourself. And depending on how you react to the failure or learning experience, it can change your future.
Yeah, because for somebody like me, everything before I came to Canada was kind of smooth. Like, I didn't have a lot of major challenges or difficulties in my life. So, responding to failures, it could be kind of a challenge to me at the beginning. But it also reminded me of a book. I was recommended by another professor I encountered at U of T. So that book is basically talking about, for young people, feel early and feel quick, so
Right.
you get used to that, and also at the same time you know what you really want to do.
Which book was that?
It's called Design Life, something like that. I kind of
Okay.
forgot my title. Design My Life, or Design Life Design, something like that.
Do you remember
I
the
can.
author by chance?
It is a social work worker or professor in that
Okay.
field. I can look it up and
Yeah,
give you the
absolutely.
accurate title.
Awesome. I'll add it in the description after.
Sure, sure.
Awesome. So, what is the best or most worthwhile investment that you have ever made, either in time, in money, anything like that, or energy, even? An investment that you've made that has been
Mm,
worthwhile.
mm. I want to just say, I want to give two examples.
Yeah.
One is more practical, one is more like self-realization, improvement. Um, the first one I would say is when I was working for the education company, I invest my time and money into kind of completing the immigration license. I think that really opened my door for a lot of opportunities in university and colleges to be immigration advisor.
Right.
And I really like it, it turned out to be. The second example I want to give is I invest a lot of my time in
Okay.
reading novels and nonfictions, biographies. So I really like it. I think it's a good way to continue like building your reading habits, because sometimes after start working, people just read less and less. I think that's a great
Right.
way to keep your mind sharp and then also curious about stuff.
Do you typically read in Chinese or in English?
In English, I usually
Okay.
go to like Indigo, like they have Heather's Picks. I would go through
Okay.
the list and then to see what I like. But I think most of the books I'm interested in, they have one commonality, that is to tell stories of females.
Okay.
They have strong female characters, and I really like it.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's really important as well. Because, like, again, it said when you're doing the international advising, right? It's that connection and that shared experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, after you've done, what other types of things do you do other than reading for
Uh,
to keep
for
sharp or to keep your continuous learning or engagement or
continuous learning and engagement, you mean like a professional wise
or
or
even personal? For
personal?
example, it could be something you do when you're feeling overwhelmed or anxious. It could be something to better yourself, for example, like meditation or running, anything like
Yeah,
that.
I like doing yoga,
Okay.
so stretching and to do the postures. I like it. I like reading.
Yeah.
I also like Netflix.
Yeah, yeah, that's a popular one.
It's a very popular one. Yes, there are a lot of shows I like on Netflix. I like movies, and I like talking to my friends and families. If I
Right.
feel down, I think the first thing I'll do is to talk to a friend or my family.
And it's 24, is it 13 hours difference between here and China?
It is now, but I think
Right.
in the summertime it's 12 hours different.
So how do you usually communicate with them? Is it still through WeChat and you just try to get them in the morning or the night or?
Yeah, usually I talk with my family in the nighttime because that's their early morning or late morning.
Right.
And WeChat has the function of video chat, so that's how
Right.
we
You can
kind of
talk that way.
FaceTime. Yes.
Awesome. So I have a question for you, and it's from another podcaster who created this question. So I'm going to give him all the credit. Essentially, it's from Tim Ferriss, and he asks,
Mhm.
if you had a metaphorical billboard that you could put a message on and everyone could see it, what would you want that billboard to say? It could be a quote, a motivation, something that you want everyone out there to know and to think about as we go into or continue with 2021 now.
Life is too short for bad sushi.
Nice.
I'm joking. I was joking.
That's a good one.
No, then I'll be the one from me. I think now to say like, stay home, please. Keep
Yes.
social distancing because
Yes.
everyone is worried about the spread of COVID, and just please stay in and then protect everyone, including yourself. That would
Right.
be something from me.
Right. Perfect. That's awesome. Is there anything else you'd like to share with all of our listeners today?
It's I hope you are enjoying this episode, and if you have more questions about like how international student life is in Canada, this is a great place to follow. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today. It was a pleasure to speak with you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
We'll talk again soon. Bye.
Bye.
If you're interested in finding work in the public or education sector, or if you would just like to reach out to Lynn for general questions, you can reach out to her on Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn by using her name, Lynn Shen. Thank you all for tuning into our show. We hope you enjoyed today's episode, and as always, learned something you didn't know before, or found something interesting you can talk about at the next family dinner, whenever that is. If there is a topic you would be interested in hearing us talk about or discuss, you can reach out to us at readyworking.com or email contact@readyworking.com.